Hi, I'm Stephanie Ulrich, the director of our training clinic, and I'm a member of the core clinical psychology doctoral faculty. My PhD is in clinical psych. My research is with my colleague Ben Freer, and our overall focus is on grief and loss, trauma, barriers to mental health care, and stigma around mental health issues. We've spent the last several years working with military veterans, and so a bunch of our research has um, focused on that, and some future research will as well. We have quite a bit of data that can be studied by folks who want to work in the lab. We have data from, I think, more than 500 undergraduate students and maybe 1,800 adults that we recruited from MTurk. We have our next study, we will have another 2,400 adults participating. What we have looked at in the last several years, excuse me, is we've examined what personal factors contribute to how adults perceive and respond to hypothetical characters' distress, where we've manipulated the source of distress. It's one of two mental health conditions or a physical condition. And we've manipulated whether the character is a veteran or a civilian. And we've looked at a number of variables. In this context, we've looked at attributions. We've looked at the role played by childhood trauma, by shame, tendency to feel shame, gender norm identifications, past experience with mental health services by oneself or family and friends, and attitudes towards mental health treatment. And what we've looked at are attributions made by the participants about what the source of pain is and how bad it is, and whether or not the person needs professional help versus some other intervention. We've looked at all kinds of things. I can't even remember the number of things we've looked at because we have so many variables. And so that's the most recent one that we have data from, or set of studies that we have data from, are those. We now are about to roll out one for 2,400 subjects, and we've added to that one. We're manipulating the gender of the vignette character, and also we'll look at the gender of participants as another variable of interest. And then after that, we have a study set up where we will be looking at a whole lot of US military veterans, looking at some of these variables of interest, looking to see what we can find to describe our US military veterans with regard to things like stigma. As you can imagine, US military stigmatizes psychological distress quite a bit, and historically very much so. Perhaps it's getting a little better. And we will be looking at things like childhood trauma, tendency to shame, some other things, and look at how we can describe our US military veterans. We have quite a bit of data that can be looked at. We've got a couple of studies that we're ready to roll out. The students in our lab, if I didn't mention, I collaborate with Ben Freer, my colleague. My lab is combined with his. And our students are always working on at least one study. They develop their own studies, starting with their literature reviews and hypothesis development to data cleanup, data analysis and interpretation, and development of presentation. Our students typically present at regional, national, or international psychology conferences. A few of our students in the lab are working on papers. Ben and I have written papers with former students in the lab. What else can I tell you? We have a fun lab. We feed our students. Um, you can check out the video that the students in the lab made. That should give you some information. If you look at the website under for my webpage, you should see a link to a whole bunch of the studies that have been um, developed and presented by lab students in the last several years. We don't have funding for students anymore. We did for quite some time, but we don't anymore. We are always looking for new sources of funding, so maybe sometime in the future. Um, I think that's it. You should be able to, like I said, get information from the students in my lab, and then also the students in Ben's lab, Ben Freer's lab. We decided to have them do two separate videos, so you might check out theirs. You might also check out Ben's video. He loves to talk about research, and so he'll go into great detail, I'm sure. And like I said, you should find more information on our website, okay? Thanks and good luck. All right, bye-bye.